After years of silence, she is finally speaking up. The entire industry is in a frenzy when China and Milan, the adored star of House of Pain and Disney's Descendants, dropped a bombshell, and Tyler Perry is the main focus. What she disclosed alters our preconceived notions of one of Hollywood's most influential innovators, from her alleged mistreatment on site to her quiet behind closed doors. This isn't another tell-all star, it serves as a warning. China Anne Milan was regarded as Hollywood's golden girl for many years, gifted, modest, and constantly beaming in front of the lens. Fans witnessed a rising star who seemed to be enjoying the limelight from her early days on Tyler Perry's House of Pain to her breakthrough triumph with Disney's ENT Farm and Descendants. However, a completely different story was being told behind the well-rehearsed performances and moments on the red carpet. China is now at last prepared to express her truth. China Anne has opened up about her experience working under Tyler Perry in a daring and heartfelt admission. The well-known director and media tycoon is frequently commended for providing a breakthrough opportunity for Black performers and artists. However, not everything was as positive as it appeared. According to China, you're going to learn the true reason she left, the struggle she faced behind the scenes, and why she feels the public should be aware of the genuine treatment of young performers, particularly Black women, in the business. China is no longer holding back when it comes to unstated power relations, creative censorship, and controlling settings. This is where it becomes even more startling. It's not just about her, she says. It concerns a trend that has been ignored for many years. We're going to unpack everything in this video, so fasten your seatbelt. The moment China Anne decided enough was enough, her cryptic messages and interviews that alluded to deeper sorrow, her hidden hardships on the set of House of Sorrow, and the unexpected revelations she made about Tyler Perry to her followers. What she stated about him in private meetings, along with who else might be supporting her behind the scenes, will astound you. It's more than simply drama. This is an accountability. Prior to the scandal and rumors of conflict behind the scenes, China Anne Milan was the epitome of youthful brilliance in Black Hollywood. China was born into a musically talented family. Her mother was a songwriter, and her father was a music producer. She got her first part in the movie The Gospel when she was 7 years old. Additionally, Tyler Perry quickly became aware of it. She was chosen to play Jasmine Payne in Tyler Perry's hit sitcom House of Pain in 2007, which popularized Black family life. A young Black actress working under one of the most influential Black directors in the world felt like the ideal opportunity. Jasmine's sassy charm and hilarious timing won over millions of viewers. For the outside world, China was living the dream of any young actor, and she was a fan favorite. However, the cameras missed some of the things that went on behind her contagious laugh and radiant on-screen personality. China has hinted subtly about the strain she had in her early acting career in a number of interviews over the years. She talked hazily about feeling unheard, rigorous creative control, and long hours. She didn't name names at the time, but fans have since re-listened to those interviews with new eyes, especially in light of her recent revelations regarding Tyler Perry. One particularly telling moment occurred during a 2022 podcast appearance when she stated, "There were times when I felt like a product, not a person, especially when I was younger." Since then, anonymous insiders from the House of Pain said have come forward to reveal that the working environment wasn't always supportive. Actors, even young ones, had little to no control over how their characters evolved, how long they worked, or even when they could speak up in this do as you are told society. According to several, this wasn't simply draining for a kid performer like China. It was suffocating to the emotions. She became increasingly uneasy, yet China continued to appear. She gave the cameras a smile, her head remained lowered, and she made an effort to think that this was the way Hollywood operated, particularly for those who were fortunate enough to get a part in a Tyler Perry production. But things started to change as she became older and more seasoned. She became increasingly aware of the disparity in authority. According to people close to her, the stress really started when she started asking questions, since this is where things start to become interesting. According to insiders, Tyler Perry's crew didn't like it when she started to set creative limitations, especially when it came to her personal appearance, faith, and moral values. What follows is how it all progressed during a single dramatic encounter behind closed doors, and why China claims she felt silenced and exploited. China and Lan acted as the ideal professional for years, constantly polite, constantly grinning, and never stirring up trouble. But beyond that well-maintained facade, annoyance had been simmering beneath the surface until it finally boiled over. According to people close to China, she had changed by the time she made a comeback in 2020 for the House of Pain remake. She had developed mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. China returned with purpose, no longer the wide-eyed kid star who was happy to follow orders without inquiry. Beyond laugh tracks and sitcom scripts, she had a vision for herself, morals, and boundaries. However, several members of the production apparently took issue with her attempt to speak up. Insiders on the set claimed that China started to doubt situations in which she felt her faith was being tested, especially those that featured adult comedy or issues she didn't want her character to be connected with. She wasn't asking for complete creative authority, she was tough without being theatrical. They believe that's when things behind the scenes began to change. According to a number of accounts, China was frequently silenced, brushed aside, or advised to have faith in the process when she voiced concerns. She initially made an effort to be tactful, but as time went on, she became more and more irritated at being ignored. In order to talk about the path of her character and express some of the spiritual unease she was feeling, she reportedly asked Tyler Perry himself for a private meeting. And this is the point at which everything changed. People with knowledge of that encounter said China sobbed as she exited the discussion. She went in hoping to be heard. She came out knowing she never would be. That was the day she decided she was done. She began pulling back both emotionally and professionally. Though the actress's exact words are not publicly confirmed, a close friend of the actress shared. On social media, fans started to notice subtle clues, cryptic captions, references to spiritual warfare, and increasingly frequent mentions of feeling trapped in environments that didn't align with her beliefs. China stated on an Instagram Live that the enemy isn't always obvious. He can occasionally appear as a chance, a success, or someone you previously trusted. In retrospect, the comments seem like a direct message to someone, maybe someone like Tyler Perry, but at the time, fans believed she was making a generic reference to the industry. She started removing herself from the performance in private. She began declining other projects associated with the Tyler Perry name. Her energy on set clearly shifted, and she started to be pickier about what she accepted to do. She was later described by her co-stars as calmer, more reserved, and not the vivacious adolescent they had known in their youth. Then came the final maneuver. She turned to go. Even though she is one of the most well-known and adored characters in the House of Pain series, China and Lan discreetly left the show to focus on their faith-based careers, content production, and side projects where she had complete creative freedom. She never wrote a tell-all or made a big exit, but her silence spoke louder than any news release. She left for one reason. According to people who had worked closely with her, she wouldn't compromise her morals and peace for a paycheck. This is when it becomes even more severe, though. Rumors started to circulate behind the scenes that China wasn't simply leaving. She was getting ready to say something, and Tyler Perry's entire reputation would be rocked by what she was going to disclose. Next up are the revelations made by China and Lan in her heartfelt internet confession, as well as the reaction of Tyler Perry's team when the truth was eventually revealed. She chose not to go through the media when she and Lan ultimately made the decision to speak forward. She didn't use attorneys to draft a well-crafted public statement. She didn't even specifically mention names. Rather, she did what truth-tellers of this new generation do best. Her Instagram live stream, which was unfiltered and raw, has now been screen-captured and shared on all social media sites. China spoke steadily while gazing into the camera with hazy eyes. What began as a lighthearted check-in with fans swiftly evolved into something considerably more profound and intimate. "I have been silent for a while, but I will no longer be mute. I have to tell the truth." Just that first sentence pushed viewers into a frenzy. Questions, concerns, and words of encouragement flooded the comments section. Was she going to say something? To whom was she referring? Then she revealed the first shocking revelation. In this sector, there are people you look up to and believe are working for God, but in reality, they are just abusing their position of authority to control and manipulate others. I've witnessed it on sets before. I've experienced it, and since they are terrified, nobody discusses it. She didn't specifically name Tyler Perry at the time, but it was impossible to overlook the hints. Viewers quickly started making connections between the time frame, the references to her time spent in the House of Pain, and the religious terminology. Everything was pointing in the same way. Then came the more straightforward disclosure. There were times when I wanted to leave the set altogether. There were times when I said, "This doesn't feel right." Despite my objections, I was instructed to proceed. Furthermore, the individuals who made such choices were not unfamiliar. I had held them in high regard. She continued by recounting an alleged incident during the filming of a House of Pain episode in which she attempted to protest a scene that she believed to be morally and spiritually contradictory. She claims that she was coerced into doing it nevertheless, informed that she should be thankful for the chance to participate and that declining would cause production to be disrupted. Although they will claim to be providing you with a platform, their true goal is compliance. Additionally, you are branded as emotional, ungrateful, or difficult if you push back. The live stream went on for almost half an hour. Furthermore, China's remarks had a strong charge, even though she never once became impolite or accusing. She talked as a young black woman who had grown up in a field that frequently praised artists like Tyler Perry, while neglecting the emotional harm occurring behind the scenes. In addition to her experience as a former child star, her message struck a chord profoundly, particularly with other young performers, some of whom subsequently started sharing mysterious messages of their own, seemingly suggesting that Perry's works had caused something unnerving for people other than China. The Instagram live became viral in less than a day. Her confession was featured in podcasts, TikTok accounts, gossip blogs, and YouTube channels. # and MLAN, home of suffering truth, and Tyler Perry revealed were among the hashtags that started to gain popularity. Discussions erupted on fan forums. While some questioned Perry's intentions and supported her, others commended her daring. Then the camp of Tyler Perry reacted. Several industry sources claimed that Tyler Perry Studios executives discreetly contacted China's team to try to elucidate her remarks, although it has not yet been verified whether the cease and desist letter was actually delivered. One individual familiar with the matter claimed that it was secretly drafted. However, it was unsuccessful if the intention was to silence her. China boldly added, "You don't scare me, I'm covered, and I'm not here to destroy. I'm here to tell the truth. That's what God called me to do." In a follow-up post on her Instagram story, it was unrepentant, and it clarified one thing: Hollywood's rules were no longer acceptable to China and McClain. However, this is the part that nobody anticipated. There are now rumors that two former Tyler Perry collaborators, one of whom is an actress who played a significant part in another popular series, are getting ready to come out as well. Is this the start of a much bigger reckoning? The secrecy around Tyler Perry's enterprise started to crumble after China and McClain exposed the truth. What began as a single courageous voice soon started to reveal a far more complex story that had been simmering beneath the surface for years. Tyler Perry, a dynamo who created a billion-dollar media empire on his own without the assistance of big studios, was long regarded as untouchable. He was praised as a trailblazer, particularly in the black entertainment industry, for opening doors for underrepresented tales, creating jobs, and providing possibilities for emerging actors. But as news of China's disclosures spread, a new picture emerged. Fans noticed odd posts from other performers who had previously worked on Perry's sets shortly after her widely shared Instagram Live. Quotations on power, silence, and creative control that are first subtle and mysterious. However, one post halted everyone's progress. A famous actress from the Havies and the Haviots, who wished to stay anonymous for the time being, shared a single statement on her Instagram along with a dark screen. She only used those 4 words, no lies, hashtags, or tagging. However, the internet grasped it right away. Fans of the program were aware that she had collaborated extensively with Tyler Perry for many years, and that tweet alone sparked rumors that China's experience wasn't the only one. "There's so much the public doesn't know," tweeted a former assistant director who worked on If Loving You Is Wrong shortly after. Then another voice spoke up, this time from a background actor who had performed in several Tyler Perry shows over the course of 4 years. "Working under that system isn't as empowering as it looks from the outside. People think working for Tyler Perry is a dream come true, but it's a machine, a fast-paced, don't ask questions, don't make waves kind of machine," she said in a TikTok that went viral very quickly. China Ann expressed what many of us have long felt. You say something, you're gone. You ask for a break, they replace you. Given that they came from within, these revelations were particularly painful, not from gossip or tabloid rumors, but from folks who had actually been on those sets. This is when things become even more intense. In media circles and fan sites, a leaked memo purportedly from Tyler Perry's studios started making the rounds. It allegedly stressed limiting public participation with provocative content and provided public relations procedures to handle social media accusations, albeit its veracity has not been verified. Was the studio attempting to preserve its reputation, or was it a hasty attempt to maintain control over a story that had already become lost? One thing is certain, Perry's meticulously constructed public image started to crumble the more voices that surfaced. Even if he hasn't officially addressed China's and Milan's remarks, his silence is growing more and more noticeable every day. His empire's inner workings were questioned by critics. Why does he have so few other writers on his shows? In light of the discomfort expressed by numerous performers, why does he oppose collaborative storytelling? Furthermore, why have so many ex-workers describe burnout, stress in the creative process, and an environment where challenging the process was viewed as treacherous? This is the most unexpected turn of all, though. According to an unnamed source from a significant network that previously collaborated with Tyler Perry, officials are reconsidering future partnerships in the wake of the issue. The fact that big networks are even contemplating distancing themselves speaks volumes about how severe this situation could go. Even if no formal statement has been issued, fans are now split. Some people are still in favor of Tyler Perry and believe that these disclosures are overblown or misunderstood, but others are calling for accountability, openness, and above all, the freedom of Black creatives to flourish without being restricted or silenced. Additionally, rumors are circulating that she is currently writing a full-length memoir, and insiders say she is naming individuals, so this could be only the beginning for China and MLAN. Many people thought China and Milan would back down and gently fade from the public view, like so many others who dared to speak up after the business was rocked by her audacious disclosure. However, the subsequent events demonstrated that China wasn't merely narrating her story. She was taking back her identity, her future, and her authority. China has reportedly signed a contract with a major publishing house for a memoir that would detail not only her profession, but also her journey through faith, betrayal, Hollywood politics, and finally, recovery, according to publishing insiders. Although she hasn't made the book public yet, preliminary reports indicate that she has been writing for more than a year, and that several significant chapters do, in fact, specifically mention Tyler Perry. Her faith, it seems, has been her anchor through all of this. China has become more outspoken about her Christianity in recent years, using her platform to share Bible verses, lead discussions on spiritual growth, and speak about the emotional toll of compromising one's values in exchange for fame. One person close to the process disclosed, "This isn't a revenge book, it's a spiritual testimony, a truth-telling. She's writing not to hurt people, but to set herself free and maybe help others find that same freedom. I'd rather be canceled by the world than silenced by my own spirit," she wrote in a potent post, demonstrating not only her talent, but also her refusal to soften her message for the sake of public acceptance. "I will never longer waste the voice that God has given me." She has started a YouTube series that focuses on openness, honesty, and candid discussions about the field. With wide eyes and a trusting heart, she has already started mentoring upcoming artists, alerting them to the pitfall she previously fell into. And in spite of all the criticism she has received, China claims she has no regrets. "It was all worthwhile if one female feels less alone, and if someone chooses to defend themselves after witnessing me do so." Regarding Tyler Perry, he doesn't say anything in public, no remarks, rejections, or affirmations. And maybe that stillness says more than words ever could. Now, everyone is watching, not only because a well-liked young actress raised her voice, but also because she opposed the system that produced her. She also made networks, creators, and fans consider the consequences of their silence, which led to the question, what are we really supporting when we ignore the cost of someone else's silence? One of this generation's most influential young voices has emerged, and she isn't going anywhere. The voyage of China Milan is more than just a news story. This trend serves as a reminder that, despite a profession that relies heavily on lights, cameras, and acclaim, every smile is fueled by a genuine human soul. Now is your chance to say up as well, whether you found this article to be compelling, illuminating, or simply thought-provoking. Please share your opinions in the comments section below. Is China's story credible? In your opinion, what does this portend for Tyler Perry's future legacy? For more truth-driven stories, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember to enable notifications so you don't miss the next significant disclosure from the entertainment industry. Here at World of Stars, we reveal the facts that they would want you not to know.